Welcome to the Business SOS podcast. This is Rich Sierra, President of the Florida Small Business Legal Center. This is episode 130th of the podcast. Thank you for listening and supporting me for the last 2.5 years as we get closer to episode 200, which is my next goal. And we're getting closer and closer every time I do another podcast every week. So today we're going to continue our conversation with George Zeitler. We're going to do a little bit different twist. Last time we talked more about his expert witness work. Today we're going to talk more specifically about his company, Zeitler Marine. And the topic today is Marine Expertise in Action inside of Zeitler Marine Services. Welcome, George, again to the show.
Thank you, Rich. Glad to be back.
So tell me a little bit more about your company. What do you do?
So Zeitler Marine Services is a company I started almost 25 years ago. And it's primarily focused on yachts and small craft surveying. I also, through that company, support a second company I own or co-own called Reliable Maritime Solutions, in which my partner and I do very similar work on large commercial ships, primarily cruise lines.
Okay. And how do you get started?
To be honest, I kind of fell into it. When I was in the Coast Guard, as I started to approach my 20th year and started to think about where do I want to be at and what do I want to do after I retired, one option was to become a small business owner and a marine surveyor for yachts and small craft. And so in order to accomplish that, I felt like I needed to be recognized by some external entity as having that knowledge and experience. So I started to look into becoming accredited. And in order to do that, I needed to be out surveying recreational boats. And so that became the natural outfall of that.
And how do you become accredited to provide surveys?
So it's all about training and knowledge and experience. I belong to the Society of Accredited Marine Surveyors. They're based here in the U.S. And I had to submit a resume identifying my background and experience. I also had to send in examples of surveys and reports that I had done over the years so that they could review my report writing and my technical knowledge and abilities. And then I had to pass their test. They have an accreditation test, and once you pass that, then they can bestow an accreditation on you.
So, what is a survey? Just let me go from the basics here.
So, a surveyor is basically an expert in general boat construction, maintenance, and so forth. And I perform two functions. For those that have bought a house, you've had a code inspection and an appraisal done to determine what the value of the house is so that the bank can give you your mortgage. The mortgage company wants to know that the house is built properly and that they're not giving away more money than they should.
Taking greater risk than they should.
Exactly. And so I combine both of those functions for people that are looking to buy and sell boats.
So what information will go into that survey?
So I will do, for the majority of it, it's a physical inspection of the boat. I do some research on how the boat was built, what kind of materials were used in it, and then we start looking at trying to identify if there are any defects. We're looking to make sure the boat is built and being maintained in accordance with accepted standards in the boating industry, and then we at the very end we go through and determine what the value of the boat is.
What are the standards you're referring to? We say standards in the boating industry.
So there are some federal regulations and federal laws that the Coast Guard has published that all boats have to comply with. A lot of them are Safety related. Most of them are safety related. Think of life jackets and flares and those types of things. They also publish certain pollution requirements, so we make sure that the boats are not going to pollute the environment. And then the last thing that they publish is they look at high risk. So they have a lot of regulations for boats that are published that are powered by gasoline engines. But then there are other recommended practices and standards that have been developed by an independent party called the American Boat and Yacht Council. They are not mandatory, but they are strongly recommended. And of course, failure to follow them could result in a lawsuit against the boat manufacturer. So most boats are built in accordance with the ABYC standards.
What would be the reason the boat owner would need a survey?
There's a few different reasons. So the most obvious, as I just mentioned, is they want to buy the boat. And the bank wants to know if the boat is a good risk for loaning money out and to get insurance for the boat. The insurance company is going to want a survey. And then once the boat is owned, as the boat ages, the insurance company will periodically ask to have the boat surveyed so that they know that they are undertaking a reasonable risk with regards to potential loss of the boat. And then the last thing would be in the event of an accident where the boat's been damaged, a surveyor would be called in to inspect it and determine what caused the damage and how much damage there is.
Typically, how long does it take from the time that you are retained to do the survey to the time of the survey completion? How long does it take to do that?
It can be as quick as call me today and let's do the survey tomorrow and write the report the following day. It could be that quick. Not recommended. First and foremost, there are not a lot of accredited surveyors around the country. There's roughly 2,000 to 2,500 surveyors around the country that are accredited. So obviously, we are kept quite busy. But on top of that, you want to give your surveyor the opportunity to research the boat a little bit, to look and see if there are any accident histories that need to be made aware of, and so forth. But there's also some things that need to be coordinated to do the survey. Most of the time we want to have the boat brought out of the water and inspected on land so that we can see the parts of the hull that are in the water, look at the propellers and things like that. But then we also will need to do a trial run where we get the boat underway and test the boat out on the water to make sure it's operating correctly. And sometimes for larger boats, we need a captain, or we may have issues with getting into a boatyard to do that. So the earlier you can get the surveyor engaged, the better.
You mentioned accredited and non-accredited surveyors. Is this a licensed profession?
No, it is not. There is no requirement anywhere in the world for a license or minimum knowledge for a surveyor. As I like to say, you can go, if you have enough money to go down to Kinko's and order some business cards, you too can be a surveyor. So accreditation, third-party accreditation, is really the only way for a boat owner or boat buyer to be confident in the knowledge and experience of the surveyor they're hiring.
And then so if an insurance company is asking for a survey, how would they know, the credentials of the surveyor?
So the surveyor, for example, the Society of Accredited Marine Surveyors has issued me a surveyor number. I'm actually in their membership book, and I have a surveyor number and a seal. You can go to the Society of Accredited Marine Surveyors website and simply they have a find a surveyor function where you can search for the area that the boat is in, and you can identify any of their members that are living in that area.
So your advice, I guess, to our listeners, if they need a survey, to get an accredited surveyor.
Correct.
And is it possible that, obviously you can put a website anywhere, that they may get the wrong person, the person not qualified to the survey?
There is always that possibility. There are, again, in order for these accreditation societies to maintain their standards, they do from time to time fail to accept members, or they may discharge members from the organization for poor practices. And so I have seen cases where people that have been removed from the membership role still continue to advertise on their website with the accreditation society's logo.
Well, that's deceptive.
It's deceptive practice. Yeah. And so and that's why I say the best way to do it is to go to the website, to the organization's website, and search there. The other thing you can do is ask for a copy of their membership card. Every year, SAMS issues me a new membership card with my name, my surveyor number. I have to sign that card, so you can ask for a copy of that.
You mentioned SAMS. What is SAMS?
SAMS is the Society of Accredited. That's the acronym for it.
Society of. Let's repeat it again.
Society of Accredited Marine Surveyors.
Okay, great. So typically, what type of clients do you work with?
So for Zeitler Marine, my clients are going to be individuals more often than not. People that are just looking to buy a boat. I just earlier this week I had someone from Alabama that reached out and was looking to buy a boat here in South Florida, and had the person that was selling the boat gave them my name and contact information. So it's very much you can do a lot of advertising, but it's almost as much word of mouth and reputation for that. With my other company, Reliable Maritime, we're dealing strictly with commercial ships, cruise lines, tanker operating companies, things like that.
Mm-hmm. So when you do your surveys, is there any common problems that you see with I'm talking about the small vessels,
yep,
that you see that the boat owners can try to avoid before the survey?
There are, and every one of them comes down to basically one issue, and that's boats that are left to what I call graze. We've all seen cows out in the field, and they just kind of wander around, and they're eating the grasses. Well, boats don't like to do that either. And so if a boat is not used routinely, the engine you can start to develop rust in some of the engine components. Batteries go dead, wiring disintegrates, and so on. So it really comes down to boats need to be used routinely and they need to be maintained. We've all had a car. We went on vacation for 2 or 3 weeks. The car sits in the garage. You come home and you go to start it, and the battery's dead. Same thing happens with boats, and so it's the same process. The more you use it, the more you start to recognize when things are starting to not work as well as they should, and then you can go ahead and get them repaired and brought back up to where they should be.
So, what advice do you have for boat owners, or a boat owner is listening today that is interested in selling his boat?
So if you're looking to sell the boat, I would encourage you to bring in a surveyor to go through the boat and identify as many defects as possible so that you can fix them, get them addressed ahead of time. They're not going to add to the value of the boat, unfortunately, but they will make the negotiation process that much easier. The fewer defects that a surveyor finds who's representing the buyer, the less likelihood that they're going to come back and either walk away from the boat Because again, a boat that has a lot of, even if they're minor defects, screws missing from hinges on cabinet doors and things like that, it just gives a perception that the boat hasn't been maintained. So the easier, the more you can prepare the boat for the survey, the better you're going to be. Quite often, surveyors will, if I'm going to do a survey like that, I don't have to issue a full report. I can just give you a work list. So my prices actually might be cheaper to help you prepare the boat for sale, which means you might retain more of the value of the boat during the negotiation process.
Yeah, so otherwise you're negotiating for repairs.
Yes.
They're going to start discounting the asking price.
Yep. And if you're selling the boat, the last thing you want to do is have them come back to you and say you need to fix A, B, C, and D, because anybody that's ever owned a boat knows that as soon as I open up A, 3 different things are going to be found broken behind it. And so now I've just opened Pandora's box. So the less back and forth you have to do and the less things you have to discuss about either repairing yourself or discounting, because they're going to have to pay for the repairs to make the boat usable, the better you're going to be.
So on the flip side, say you have a first-time boat owner, what advice would you give that?
First-time boat owner is first off, don't have eyes bigger than your belly. We all want these big, beautiful, high-performance boats and things like that. Understand that as you drive a boat, it's not like driving a car. You're gonna ding it. You're gonna bump it into the dock. It's gonna get damaged. So first off, be reasonable in what you're getting. I did a survey for a first-time boat owner who wanted a cigarette boat that does 65, 70 miles an hour, and he'd never driven a boat before. That's, in my opinion, very dangerous. So do that. Second of all, go out and take some boating courses. Boating safety. A lot of states now are starting to require online boating safety courses, and you have to have, in order to register a boat, you have to have the card saying that you completed that course. It's going to be basically rules of the road, what are the basic safety requirements, and safety equipment needs to be on the boat, a lot of that stuff. But then look around. There are many organizations out there that will do actual hands-on training and help you to learn how to operate your boat safely, and how to when you're approaching a dock, how do you tie up the boat in a windy day and things like that. And so you can't just skimp. We all went through driver's education before we got our driver's license.
Correct. Yes.
Unfortunately, we don't require licenses for boating. So, no, there's no requirements. Okay. And so, be mindful. It's your life. It's your family's life. It's your friend's life out there. The sea is very unforgiving, and so go out there and get a boating safety course.
What type of risks the boat owner takes when they take passengers in the boat, in terms of risk management or liability? If you know the answer.
To be honest, let's divide that up a little bit, because there are two avenues. One is you and a bunch of friends are just going out for a day on the boat, going to go out to the sandbar. And that's as far as liability, you as the boat operator have ultimate responsibility. You need to make sure that people are not doing things on your boat that are unsafe. Okay, going back to our previous discussion, I actually had a case, an expert witness case, where we had someone get hurt because they got ejected from a boat, a high-speed boat, high-performance boat during a poker run, and got severely injured. And we were trying. The responsibility comes right down to the boat owner and the boat operator. And so you do have that liability. And so again, if you can show that you've had the training and taken these boating safety courses, it just helps you to reduce your liability and your exposure.
Yeah, and of course we've seen those accidents that have happened in South Florida, two boats colliding. I mean, there's tragedies
all the time, unfortunately.
Happen. Yeah. You're also an instructor.
Yes, I am.
For the Chapman School of Seamanship, which I've had the privilege to go and speak to your students as well. Tell me more about that.
So Chapman School of Seamanship is actually Florida's maritime training center. It was designated in the early 80s by the state government as our training center. And we do a lot of different things. We have one part of the school that teaches boat handling, boat operations. We actually have a course that will allow people to apply for captain's licenses as well as seaman's documents. We have a Yamaha certification and training center for people that want to be outboard mechanics. And then I run the marine surveying side of the school, and we have currently 3 classes, and we're in the process of developing 3 more that focus on marine surveying, both how to be a general surveyor, which is a lot of what we've talked about today, but also we put on courses on how to do damage surveys. And then we're developing an entry-level course for people that want to get into the boating industry but really don't know where they want to fit in there. And we will have a course later this year starting up that will give you a broad exposure as well as a certification on how to handle and operate boats.
That's very important. Mm-hmm. And where's the school located at? The
school is located in Stuart, Florida. About an hour north of where we are right now.
Okay. And I've been there. It's a beautiful school. Tell me more about the course that you teach. How long it is, and in the type of.
The primary course is the basic marine surveying course. It's a 6-week course. It's done in residence. We have about 4 weeks of classroom time where we will teach the students the basics of marine surveying, the different types of surveys, what goes into it, into the different types of surveys. We teach them how boats are built. We get into engines and electrical systems. We will take our students to one of the boat manufacturers in the Stuart and Fort Pierce areas and let them go into the factory and show them how the boats are built start to finish.
That's pretty neat. Yeah.
As well as then we actually have, because we're a nonprofit organization and we accept donated boats, we have a fleet of boats that I can have them practice on, and they can go out and see different types of fiberglass boats and different engines and sailboats and power boats and things like that. And so we give them that experience of actually surveying a couple of boats during their 6-week period. And then we also bring in guest speakers like yourself to talk about, because most of the people that are coming to this school are tired of working for other people and they want to start their own business. And so we talk to them about how to start their business and how to go about obtaining insurance, how to craft a contract, how to craft a well-written report so that they don't get sued and things like that. So our goal is that when they walk out, because it's an unregulated business, as we said earlier, when they walk out, they have all of the information needed so that they can run a business successfully without and hopefully avoid getting sued.
And it's usually a small class size from what I saw.
It is. It's typically up to 16 students. Occasionally will be a little bit more than that, but we try and keep it around 14 to 16 students so that there's more hands-on time with the instructors, more face-to-face, more interactions. We really want to differentiate ourselves in that method by being able to to speak to the surveyors, and I encourage all of my instructors to be very open and transparent. What are the good things that you've had? What are the fun experiences you've had? What are the bad things? What have you done where you've gone, "Phew, I'm glad nobody caught that." We've all done it, and so I try and give them that opportunity to learn from the goods and the bads that my instructors have done, because we all do things a little bit differently.
How many instructors do you have in the program?
I currently have, I believe it's 6 instructors that rotate through. Some of us cover multiple different areas of the program. For instance, I've got one instructor that covers both electrical systems and sailboats, because he's been on sailboats his whole life and just loves them. I've got an instructor that comes from Ohio, who is a certified diesel and gasoline engine mechanic. And so he teaches all of our propulsion and mechanical systems classes.
So when the students finish 6-week program, what do they receive at the end?
So we give them a graduation certificate from our school. And we talked earlier about the Society of Accredited Marine Surveyors. That certificate carries some weight in their application, and quite often within 6 months after graduation, if they're able to do some surveys when they get back home, quite often they can apply to these accreditation organizations because they can document that they've been trained in how to do a survey, and so it helps them to get accredited that much faster, so that they have that backing. Again, the nice part about the accreditation societies from the surveyor perspective is that, at least with the organization I belong to, I can obtain my business insurance through them.
Well, that's very important.
As part
that's
of
extremely important, yes.
Very important.
Yeah.
And it's a group policy, so it's much cheaper. My commercial company, my premiums to cover what I do on cruise ships is easily 15 times, almost 20 times higher.
You can imagine, yes. Yeah, the responsibility is different too.
Much different responsibility. Obviously, when you start talking about working on vessels that are worth hundreds of millions, if not billions of dollars, the insurance coverage is definitely different, but still it comes down to being part of a group policy is a whole lot nicer.
Yes, and as I talk to my listeners and also to your students as well, the people ask me the question, how can I prevent to get sued? And I'm like, you really cannot prevent that. So it's nearly impossible. I would almost disagree to some degree. Obviously, there are times where you just absolutely miss something, and the boat gets sold, and an accident occurs or it breaks down. There's always that possibility. But I'm a firm believer that as a surveyor, if you communicate early and often with your clients and be upfront about what you did and didn't do, generally you can head off the lawsuits. And don't be so prideful that you're not willing to admit that you may have made a mistake. And most of my surveys are less than $2,000 per survey. You know what? It's usually not going to lead to a lawsuit.
Well, there have been some. I've been lucky enough, knock on wood, that I have not been. But at the end of the day, you know what? You feel like I didn't do a good job? Let's negotiate, you and me. I'll return 50% of your survey fee. I'll return your survey fee, and quite often that heads off the issue before it ever gets to the time of the lawsuit. But again, if I communicate expectations before I ever get hired for the job, and my practice is the minute I sit down in my truck after I walk off the boat and start driving home, I'm on the phone with the client describing what I saw, what I did, what we couldn't test because of the location of the boat or whatever, then again, quite often I've now given the client, they before they ever see my written report, they already have in their mind what they expect to see.
Some feedback.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think that my answer to the, preventing lawsuits is you have a good contract. You also have insurance.
Yep.
And you also have, as you mentioned, communication with the client is essential.
Yes.
I think that in my experience, 21 years being an attorney, doing a lot of litigation, people sue because they are angry or because they're ignored. Mm-hmm. Those are the two common denominators that I see that.
Through the Accreditation Society and through our group policy, we recently had a presentation from our underwriter, our group policy underwriter. And, again, the majority of the lawsuits that we fought and defended the surveyors on were because the surveyor didn't provide the report in a timely manner. And again, if you communicate, hey, you know what, I fell and got hurt and I'm in the hospital and I couldn't meet the deadline. Mm-hmm. Let people know.
Circumstances that take place.
Yeah. Let people know, communicate with them, give them a reasonable estimate on when you're going to be done. And quite often that will solve the issue. But as surveyors, we have to be mindful. Quite often, if we don't get that report out, the sale falls through. And now you've got a seller that's mad at you. You've got a broker. Think of the broker as kind of the real estate agent, if you will. Mm-hmm. And then you've got a buyer who are all mad at you, and none of them are going to hire you again.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Customer service is key.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. I have a few more minutes, George. How do people find you?
So you can find me through my website, www.zeitlermarine.com. That's Z as in zebra, E-I, T as in Tom, LERMARINE.com. You can get me my email, george@zeitlermarine.com, or you can call me 954-804-8919.
George, I've learned a great deal this morning as well. Thank you for being one of my guests. We'll come back anytime.
My pleasure. I've enjoyed it and look forward to doing it again.
And I'm looking forward to going to the Chapman School of Seamanship so I can talk to the next graduating class.
Can't wait. It's always one of the things that I receive a lot of feedback on about your talk and the support you give us. So.
I already have a schedule, so I'm looking forward to that.
And, and thank you for your volunteering your time to do that, because I know it takes away from other things for you. So
I do enjoy it. I do enjoy talking to new business owners, the questions that they have. So really enjoy talking to them.
Thank you.
Sharing my information with them. So let me close the show. Again, if you have any legal questions, any questions that you have about the show, my email is rich@richsierra.com. If you have any legal need for legal services, if you want to contact us for that, my website is floridasmallbusinesslegalcenter.com. If you want to watch the video of this podcast, we're in YouTube at youtube.com/@RichardSierra. Our phone number is 866-842-5202. Until next week, this is Rich Sierra with the Florida Small Business Legal Center. And my goal is to help you succeed. Thank you.